Alrighty, bang bang. What's going, guys? To an exciting new edition, main event, Talkin Hands. So I'm the host, Press Ectol, joined by my co-host, Mr. Danny Betts. Big weekend in fight action or combat sports action in general. A lot of big PFL fights, UFC fights, and of course, boxing fights here for the boxing match. This week we have Jake Paul taking on Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. That's a fight we'll be covering this week. As always, though, before we get into the fights for this week, we recap the fight that happened last week. I'll start off with the fight we talked about, mainly title the video on the stream, and the fight that did pretty good on a short. We posted a short about it, and that really made me look like a fool as Yafai gets dominated by Francisco Rodriguez over 12 rounds, loses the decision. Rodriguez, I will say, has got that right. Tough Mexican fighter, and really, Yafai was tough too for standing that punishment. But yeah, he just did not look right in the head. It was against the guy who actually wanted to fight back, unlike Sonny Edwards, who was just there checked out. So, Dane, what do you think about this one? And shout out Justin McKelvey coming back for a membership.
Great performance by Rodriguez, man. It was just too much pressure, too much volume for Yafai.
Yeah,
He had some moments, but like he was tough, bro. Rodriguez should have had a knockout.
yeah, he was getting beat.
Yeah, he was beating him up pretty bad. But shout out to Rodriguez because that was a big upset. I knew it was gonna be a hard test, but I thought Defy would, find the angles, outbox him and get his respect. But he never got his respect at all.
Mm-hmm.
Rodriguez was just going in there like nothing and still throwing his shots. That was a big one for him for sure. And
Yeah,
shout out to I forget his name. I should have looked before the stream, but somebody in the comments put that he was gonna bet Rodriguez by points. And shout out to you, man. That was a great call.
yeah. It was a really good bet. Going into the fight, I not like super trepidation, but the line was bouncing around, the minus 350, minus 400. I thought, which we'll talk about the Norman fight, I thought I got ahead of the line a little bit,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, it didn't matter. Great performance by Rodriguez. Biggest win probably of his career, so should set him up for some big time fights. Uh, Going off that fight, we'll actually talk about a fight that we did get right pretty easily. Brian Norman Jr. went overseas, knocked out Shin Sasaki round 5 KO. I knocked him down twice in round one, excuse me, and looked good. Like I said, Sasaki, his hands are low. Don't want your hands low against Norman. And we found out what happens when that happens. So Brian Norman Jr. looked great. Stops him, one punch knockout, basically left hook. Called that one pretty easily. Wish I would have bet more on that one, but unfortunately, what can you do? Brian Norman Jr. looks like the class of 147 right now, as Boots has moved up, and the only big time fight, which we'll speak on next month, Barrios Pacquiao. Danny, thoughts on Brian Norman Jr.'s performance there? Sensational.
Ass whooping.
Yeah.
I mean, he dropped him twice in the first round. Um, I was confident in the KO, but that should have been a max bet, like you said. It's one of those bets, like, man, I should put, that saying, we should put the house on it.
Well, especially when the line. So I didn't see it till after the fact. I looked
Yeah.
at the line,
Oh, I
and
shot
it
up.
closed minus 200.
Yeah,
KO.
it went real
So,
quick. Yeah,
yeah.
I seen it to like minus 165, and then before the fight it went up to like minus 200.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the Andy Cruz max bet. That should have been a max bet. I still had a nice coin on it, so it was easy money. That was just pure domination. One of the knockouts of the year. Right now, probably the knockout of the year so far, if I remember right. Cause it was bad, bro. They said, I don't know if it was true, but they were saying Sasaki couldn't remember a couple of things, like, once he woke up or whatever.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I mean, the reports I saw that he's doing well, so that's good because you never want to see that type of.
Yeah.
He bounced his head off the canvas too. So, but Norman, man, that was a great performance. I mean, at the end of the day, it was Sasaki though. It was, I mean, no disrespect, but he's not a bum or anything like that. But like, we knew he had no defense.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see him fight like the bigger names and stuff like that. But it's kind of hard now because everybody's going up in weight. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It does suck with Because really, after the fact, I want to say he was calling out Boots, but he was making like jabs towards him, and obviously he knows Boots is moving up in
Oh,
weight.
they've been back and forth. I don't want to hear it though, because what happened was Norman overpriced himself when they were supposed to fight,
Mm-hmm.
and like dude, like then you go to Japan and make less money. Like, come on, dude, that's one of
Yeah,
the oldest tricks to try to duck somebody.
yeah, but overall, yeah, great performance. Norman looks to be the goods, good young fighter, and definitely has a long and lengthy career coming up for sure at 147. Alrighty, let's get right into it. This week, like I said, Jake Paul, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Uh, everyone watched Jake Paul's last fight where he beat up
Dude,
Mike Tyson, which was horrible. So current odds here have Jake Paul at FanDuel minus 750, Chavez plus 450. Method of victory: Paul decision minus 115, Paul KO plus 160, Chavez decision plus 1,000, Chavez KO plus 650. Danny, what are you liking here? Jake Paul, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
yeah, we all know about Jake Paul. He had that huge fight with Mike Tyson. That shit broke records. It
Yeah,
was on Netflix. I mean, they had a couple issues with the stream and stuff like that, but shout out to Annual G in the chat. Um, yeah, I had the over that pretty cash easily. I think it was five and a half, if I remember right, something like that. But yeah, this is at 200 pounds, and we know about Chavez Jr. We know about him, son of a goat. His dad was one of the better Mexican fighters out there ever. Crazy record. But Chavez Jr. is definitely not his dad.
mm-hmm.
We've seen him lose to Anderson Silva like lately, and Uriah Hall fight. I took a shot on Uriah Hall, and that was could have gave it to Hall, honestly. But he's been labeled as a quitter too sometimes. Only been knocked out twice, but like he's got a lot of volume, a lot of experience. Typical Mexican fighter that has a lot of fights under his belt, and obviously he's gonna get a good payday here. I don't think it's a good test for Paul, because this is probably like the most like experienced boxer he's ever faced.
Oh yeah,
Um, so it's a good test for him. I think Chavez is gonna do it early. This is a 10-round fight, so I think the early rounds Chavez will be competitive. But at the same time, Paul's jab is gonna be a little bit of a, you know, like it's gonna be too much for Chavez, in my opinion, because it's been getting better every fight. Say what you want about Paul, he's
yeah,
been getting better every fight, and I think the power. That's the thing. Are we gonna see Chavez quit? He's gonna get paid pretty nice, I'm pretty sure, in this fight. That's my only worry. But being more experienced, one of the better boxers that Paul has faced, I like the over. I like Paul by decision, so that's gonna be
mm-hmm.
my bet, minus 110. Um, and I think he wins the decision. Like I said, I think it's gonna be competitive the first like 5-6 rounds, and then Paul edges a decision.
Yeah. Shout out everyone in the chat here: Andrew G, Mills,
That'd be
uh,
cap.
Dabby Cab, of course, T Moss, everyone in the chat. If you guys could leave a like on the video, drop your comments down below what you like for this fight. And yeah, my biggest issue with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. inactivity as of late. He's fought like twice, really, the last like 3 years. Fought Uriah Hall. He just doesn't throw enough like anymore. Chavez, it's literally he's there for the paycheck. Jake Paul, unless he doesn't cold clock him like he did Woodley, where Chavez just doesn't see that overhand right, I think he's gonna cruise to a decision. I don't think he's gonna put himself into harm's way. I think it's gonna be a pretty boring fight, to be frank. I don't think it's gonna be that exciting. I just see Jake Paul controlling the fight pretty easily, winning, and all the naysayers complaining again about Jake Paul. Even though I will say Jake Paul, which I think was BS. I don't think the fight would have gotten made. The Canelo fight, which was talked about, but yeah, I just think Jake Paul knows what he's doing. I guess this is a more difficult fight than Mike Tyson if you want to compare like those two, but yeah, I just don't think Chavez just isn't there anymore. And Chavez hasn't been like he had the gift of a lifetime when he fought Canelo. He didn't even fight Canelo that fight. Like he threw like 50 punches the whole fucking fight. So yeah, you never know where his head is at anywhere. And yeah, I like Jake Paul decision. If you guys have FanDuel, I do want to plug this real quick. They do give you a boost for method of victory. Or if you like Chavez, same thing. It's a 50% boost. I think depending on your account, I believe it's up to $100. So I do recommend using that boost for this fight. I like Jake Paul decision. With the boost, I got plus like 130 or 131, something like that. So yeah, like Jake Paul here. Danny, do you like anything on the undercard at all? I know Schofield's fighting Farmer and Zerto, I believe, is a co-main event.
I gotta dig into that one. That's the one I gotta dig into. There's a lot of question marks because Schofield, he was supposed to fight Shakur, and he got super sick, pulled out late or whatever, and then now he's fighting Farmer. That he's a dog. I mean, I'm not saying that because he's from Philly. He's a dog, bro. Like he took a punishment from Cepeda. They were going at it. Shout out to Joey in the chat, Miles. But the only fight I did do is Ramirez versus Junuel, the Cuban fighter.
Yeah.
Is another bet. I actually got a bet for this one too because we seen Ramirez, southpaw, throws a lot of volume. Not the biggest power. He does have a lot of knockouts, but not like the craziest power. It's more like accumulation. He's trying to work the body, try to break you down. Junuel's more of a Cuban-style boxer. Not crazy movement, like Skull when he fought Canelo, running around.
Yeah.
He does have movement, but he's a good technical boxer with a nice 1-2. Tries to set up his right hand. But the thing with him, man, it's, bro, his last 3 fights, he does have power. He's got like over 25 knockouts, like 28 wins or something like that. His last 3 fights or 4 fights, if I'm not mistaken, is like round 1, round 2, round 1. He's literally like all knockouts in the first or second rounds. No experience after that. So it's been like 5-6 years that he's been like in deep waters, and this is a 12-round fight. And I actually like Ramirez by a knockout. He's due. I know it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been like 4 or 5 fights that he's got a knockout, but I think he's catching him at the right time. And it's been like over a year or two that Junuel hasn't fought. So I think he gets him out of there. If you want to get greedy, I got minus 110. His knockout. Plus 200 on 7-12 is another angle, too, that I like. But I think he gets him out here in that second half, bro. Too much accumulation. The rest stops it like TKO style.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, Zerto is a good boxer, good fighter. And
only thing you knocked out is the food on the table.
A baker's dozen. Yeah, no, I think Zerto is a good fighter. It just sucks with that division he's in, where it's hard for him to get top fights. So he's kind of just beating up these. I don't want to say cans, but tough opponents.
You're my boy.
So, yeah. Yeah, I don't mind that. I have to watch more of the opponent. I don't know a whole lot about him. Says he's 39, Cuban. Knowing how the Cubans go, he could be 50 for all we know. So, he's probably there. Yeah, he's probably there for the paycheck for sure. So, yeah, that's a fun one. I did see no props yet. Deontay Wilder is fighting this weekend. The return of Deontay Wilder. I wish I would have looked into that or the opponent, because man, Deontay Wilder, fighter on the skid. That's him.
Me personally, I saw that. I'm like, I have no interest at all. Like I can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, I would bet the opponent just for like $20 or something, because Wilder's look bad. But it's definitely a gimme fight for him. So, like, I totally agree there. Who else? And Billy, our guy in Billy. Yeah. Who's she fighting?
I don't know who it is, honestly. I know it's her debut with MVP now.
Okay.
Her name is Jolanda Vega. She's undefeated, 10-0. 30 years old. She just had a fight in March, so she's pretty active. She's got a ton of fights in 2024, or at least 4 of them. So yeah, I personally I don't remember her. I don't know who that is, but I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure they're trying to set up. They're trying to set up home for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I wish they don't have the props out for this fight. Uh, and Billy KO. That would be my bet. He's against Sasaki.
Yeah, I think it
We did
was.
the. Who did he fight? Pacheco, where he got knocked out. Uh,
I thought I saw a line out there for. I
so
mean, I think it's pretty juiced though.
yeah, he's a minus
It's
2,000
minus four.
favorite.
Knockouts minus 450, bro.
Okay, yeah. So I didn't even. Yeah, I didn't see any props. So I guess if you want to parlay that, but not great. Yeah, that's about it, right? Liam Paro's fighting as well.
Yeah, I gotta break that down too.
Yeah,
But
so a lot of fun fights, and then of course big UFC card. Speaking of UFC, Joey DFS, Mills, all the guys be live right after us for Locker Room Talk podcast. UFC 317, Oliveira Tuporia should be a fun night of fights. Has to be better than last week's card. Last week's card was kind of rough overall, so should be some fun fights there. Moving on. Really, I guess we said there really wasn't any boxing news. I guess we can just run right into best bet, to be honest.
yeah,
Dan, what you like this weekend? I think we're going to be together there on this one.
yeah, we're on the same boat. Like the Jake Paul fight, my best bet is gonna be him by decision minus 110.
Uh,
It's going up a little bit. I see like minus 120, minus 118.
yeah.
And then my other best bet for the Ramirez fight is Ramirez by knockout. Either if you want to be a little bit more aggressive, 7-12 is plus 200. By knockout is minus 110, which that's what I bet personally. And I sprinkled a little bit around 9. I think it was like plus 1,400. And then if you want to be safe, no distance is around like minus 140. So, you get both fighters. The other guy does have some power, but I got a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I'd have to watch more of his opponent, but Zerto,
Yeah.
these
He's
are
fought
fights.
some good guys. Like, the
Yeah.
only guys he's like, Opatai when he fought Breedis?
Yeah.
Remember that fight?
Yeah.
He fought Breedis before. He went to a majority decision. He lost, but and then he fought somebody else. I don't remember. So he's got some decent competition. But that was like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
6-7 years ago.
Yeah. I'm 99% sure I've seen Gilberto Ramirez fight live. So I know he was fighting in like the Texas area
Yeah.
quite a bit when I was down there.
Yeah, he's got like 60 fights.
Yeah.
Something
And
like that.
yeah, he's a good fighter. It's just like I said, his division is tough. Just kind of stinks where he's at. And then the Bivol better BF stuff, we still don't know what's going on there. Joey likes Crawford. I know we kind of briefly touched on it before, but Dana White's all in with Crawford Canelo with Turkey. So
It's some money, bro. He's trying.
yeah.
At the end of the day, he's a businessman, bro. Like, he'll put his little hatred aside just to make some money.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what we do.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
try to tell people, I'm like, hey, I don't care if you're a fan or if you don't like the fighter. If we could try to find a way to make money, that goes out the window, man.
Oh, yeah. Like Joey said, if you guys could leave a like for us on this video, comments down below. We read all your comments, respond to all your comments. For this weekend, Paul, Chavez, Zerto, Wilder, whatever you like, let us know. Drop those comments down below. Consider becoming a member like Justin McKelvey did.
Yeah.
You get entered into a horse race Thursday and Friday on Bang with the Bag, $50. That also helps us quite a bit. And I'll let Danny close the show here before we get on out of here.
Like Joy says, scare money don't make money. That's one of my favorite mottos I always be saying, which is facts. You talk, you talking to me because like I lost 5 units on what's his face in UFC, and then I was just waiting for the line to keep going up from Fiziev. I got plus 125,
Yeah.
hammered it max bet. That shit was crazy disrespect. But yeah, follow me at Danny Best with 2Z, social media. UFC stream on Saturday if I can make it. It's been crazy over here. But the UFC guys are gonna be at 8 o'clock in a minute with the show and breakdowns and best bets and things like that. And my Patreon for my boxing bets. And I think that's about it.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, if you guys want to follow me, Press Cycle on Twitter. Like Danny said, UFC stream this Saturday. UFC show coming up right after us. And usually Billy and Joey do a little PFL show. PFL, I think, is Friday this week. So make sure to tune into that if they do it this week. That'll do it for us, guys. We'll be back next week, recap these fights, and preview Catterall Eubanks. Yep. We'll see you guys next week. This was Main Event Talkin Hands. Peace, guys.